Hey there, StarCraft fans! It's Falcon Paladin coming at ya with yet another edition of StarCraft Brood War Remastered! What the? Today it's going to be a game between MaNa and MorroW here on Python. Apparently somebody made MaNa very angry, and MorroW just responds, good game. Huh. Alright, so southern part of Python, we have a Red Terran player from Sweden, it is MorroW. And on the left side we have the very popular player MaNa. He is Polish. And this is going to be a PvT, again, here on Python. It's basically Lost Temple, kind of refactored, right? There's no high ground behind the natural bases. These are not islands. It's low ground with a mineral patch here that you need to mine, so Terran can't just go ahead and load up a command center and land it over and immediately start mining. 4 of these in the corners of the map, and a python in the middle. A snake. That's not how snakes sound. Anyway, I figured it's been a while since I've cast a MaNa versus MorroW game. I've got 3 of them on the channel. If you're interested in this matchup, go ahead and let me know. If you want to see the other ones, if you haven't already, and I will go ahead and link you to them. Anywho. Throwing up a supply depot. And a barracks. No proxies here on this giant 4-player map. The probe is scouting the wrong way. Heaven forbid you scout the wrong way, Mr. Guy. I mean, it's not really a mister. First of all, he's Protoss, and second of all, he's a robot. So, I don't know. That's the thing, right? If we ever reach the singularity where, robots do gain sentience and whatnot, do we have to consider them human? I mean, these are the questions that we're always asking, isn't it? Not always, but it's always been a question that people have had come up kind of over and over again. What do we do if robots gain sentience? And maybe they won't, right? Who knows? Who knows what the future is holding? Maybe they won't ever gain sentience. We don't have to worry about it. But it really feels like, I don't know. We don't even know what awareness is in the human brain. So nice block, by the way. That SCV blocked that. Nice, says MaNa. I was going to get in there and scout. Now I can't, because that SCV body blocked me enough so that the barracks could land. Micro for the win, says MorroW. Not wrong about that either. Really not wrong about that. So completely in the dark is what's going on in here. On the other side, it really does seem like, oh no, scouting the wrong way too. MorroW using micro. The world is changing. Yeah, MorroW is definitely more of a brute force style Terran player, which I think a lot of Terrans are. They just get up their giant mech armies, they get a ton of tanks, they walk across the map, they siege up, they kill you, you know? Not something that requires a ton of micro necessarily. It's just a defense mechanism, says MorroW. I only use it to defend. Not really when I'm on offense. See, these guys, they know each other so well. They're both elite level foreigners. They've both got their own reputations, and they're just, they're having a good time. I like it. I like it a lot. In English, in the language of StarCraft in a lot of ways. I guess Korean is another language of StarCraft, but it's English and Korean generally how this works. Hey, look, a factory and a command center. All right, so factory before command center, totally in the dark right now, is MorroW. He doesn't know. He doesn't know what's going on. He is assuming that there's going to be Dragoons showing up with Singularity Charge soon, and he's correct about that, so he's getting the factory first. Then he's getting the command center, and he's going to have some defense available before he tries to land that command center down here. So smart move by him. And pretty good micro here from MaNa. That SCV really would love to not going to scout. No scouts for you. So both players playing pretty much in the dark right now. I guess the SCV did check to see there was no natural base coming up for MaNa, and there's no command center on location here for MorroW either. So they both know they're sort of one-basing it at the moment. And what are we doing to deal with... siege mode. So tanks and the siege mode. And he's not even bothering with a bunker. Oh, quick pause. And look at this. Just kind of playing defensively. Like, he doesn't know if this is some kind of a one-base marine tank style push that can be really difficult to hold for a Protoss. So he's deciding to play it safe. Sit back here, hang out, have a good time. And then maybe move out once you have 3 Dragoons with range. I guess that is pretty good. It's a pretty good number to deal with siege tanks. Is tres Dragoons. Where did that siege tank go? Building an engineering bay over here. Is it? Oh, I guess it's just not done. I feel like it should have been done by now. Time. Time is a flat circle. So the Dragoons come in, and the tank sets up. Is done with siege mode. Oh, there's one over here under the barracks. Beautiful. Okay, so yeah, there's one tank. There could be two here. Seems like a problem. So the Marine's gonna, some SCV's gonna come down, some Marines, and tank gonna shove this away quite nicely. Come on into this siege tank range. If that's what you're into, the Dragoon pressure is falling back here for MaNa. He's warping in his own Nexus, recognizing, there was a command center coming up the whole time inside the main base. For MorroW, and there's an engineering bay going for floating across the map purposes, while this observer might actually run into this turret. If it's not careful, I don't know that it's, oh my gosh, it's dead. It's a dead, whoa, turned around. Oh, it turned at just the last possible second. It started running. If it had just been sitting there and not actually started running, it would be dead. So that's awesome. Way to go, observer pilot. Again, robot, not a person, not even a Protoss. So engineering bay getting shoved away by the Dragoon that says no scouting for you. This SCV slips past the Dragoons. Ooh, all right. And MaNa getting that third at the 12 o'clock. He's like, all right, look. The Terran, he got two bases on me, kind of snuck them up on me here, so let's try to get a third base fast, maybe a fourth base down here while we're at it. Oh, wait, over here, I mean. While we're at it, that is a difference between Lost Temple and Python, is the natural is here instead of over here. Anyway, there's different versions of this map, and they all do things a little bit differently from each other. Working on upgrades, working on additional factories, the Protoss MaNa is throwing up 3 gateways. Boo, boo, boo. And yeah, look, man, PvT, it boils down to a lot of the same principles over and over. You guys know that it does, right? Hey, if your turn, you get a bunch of tanks out, right? Try to get a third base up. So you're pumping out a lot of tanks, a lot of vultures with spider mines and speed, and then you just kind of push. And if somebody comes upon you, you siege mode, and then once they're gone, you unsiege and you go again. Pretty straightforward how to play Terran here. What you can also do, though, as Terran is get some vulture harass out, which if you want to use some of your APM in the early stages of the game on something other than, I don't know, making SCVs, you can send a vultures around the map and try to harass bases like this. So we'll see. We'll see if that's something that MorroW wants to do. But again, if you're MaNa, you know the recipe. We've talked about this enough, right? You want to trade Dragoons for tanks, because if you don't keep the tank count low enough, they will show up and you will die. That's usually how this works. Although, we have recently seen games on the channel. Not going to tell you who, but Korean level games where the Protoss does a terrible job keeping the tank count low, but just manages to win anyway because of a very nice carrier transition combined with a ton of storm and some really nice micro just in different places on the map all the time. So yes, a carrier transition can save you if you haven't bothered to whittle down the tank count, because once a giant group of carriers, you know, like 8-10 carriers is out, the tank's lifespan is pretty much over. So let's see what the decision is here for MaNa. He is working on a Templar Archives and a Stargate for Dem Arbiters here in about 8 minutes. Normal stuff. And the Vulture's going for that check to see if there are any bases over there. The answer is no. You're going to try to come up to the 12 o'clock, but there are pylons blocking off that ramp, so that's not happening either. Spider Mines getting researched. Ka-chow, 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 ka-chow. And yeah, I guess while we have a minute, I will plug the Patreon. Oh, that wasn't actually a wall. I had to throw up another pylon for that. Yeah, thank you to everybody who does support me on patreon.com/Falcon Paladin for at least $1 a month. I really appreciate ya. And if you do want to monetarily support me on a monthly basis, you can do that. Patreon is a very well-known, well-trusted website for most people. And if you don't trust Patreon, however, and some people don't, and I get that, it's fine, you can also support me right here on the channel by clicking the join button down below. And I do want to give a quick shout out to everybody who's a member of the channel. You can tell they're a member because when they leave a comment, they do have a little icon next to their name that designates how long they've been a member of the Falcon Paladin channel. So thanks everybody who's done that. I really appreciate the support there as well and the continued support doing it. So I love this play for MorroW, man. He's absolutely saying I'm taking a third base and I'm covering it quite nicely. A beautiful spread of tanks. We got spider mines here too. Reinforcements coming on out. And MaNa is just completely content to let him have 3 bases. He's not doing anything to try to stop this. Maybe he knows he can't. Maybe he knows this map is just not very conducive to attempt to stop this 3rd base from coming up from Terran. And if so, fine. MaNa's already preparing for his main base to be dead. Look at him. He's already throwing up multiple gateways here at that 3rd base when he has enough room to do so in his main if he wants, but he doesn't want to because he knows at some point these tanks are going to show up and wipe out my main base, and I'd better have a little vacation home that I can go to when that happens. See, it makes all the perfect sense. Arbiter coming in. We're going to work on the stasis and the recalls and the whatnots, and I think that we are. Whew. Anyway, hope everybody's having a good time wherever they are. We're in the throes of winter in the southern hemisphere, and we are in the throes of summer in the northern hemisphere. So if you're watching this, you're probably either one of 3 things. Super cold, super hot, or, you know, it's just always pretty much the same because you live closer to the equator. There is no difference in the seasons. That happens a lot of places, actually. Mostly South America and Africa, which I do have some fans from those places. Look at these vultures, man. There's just enough of them to kind of bully those dragoons back. Love that stuff. See, it's a little bit later than I would expect it, but I mean, I guess they did try to get up into this base and couldn't do it. So harassing when you can is really not too terrible. This is great. MaNa, no attack upgrades or armor upgrades at all. +1 is done for the mech. For MorroW, and I gotta say, I'm feeling good about MorroW right now. I am. I don't have any complaints about how he's doing this. He's harassing with vultures. He's kind of keeping MaNa on the back foot. He's taking a quick 3rd base. I mean, he could, just by extending your line a little bit further, all things considered. I mean, that's a pretty long distance to cover, but you can also take this base and the associated spawning location over here at 3 o'clock. So we'll see. If MorroW does that, MaNa might just be dead. Like, you really can't allow that to happen. These guys are 1,000,000,000% super happy with letting each other macro up so hard. He knows the timing. He has to worry about recalls. We're throwing down spider mines here inside the main base. We've seen Flash do this to great effect last week on the channel. If you missed that Flash versus Bisu game somehow and you clicked on this, I don't understand how that works, but let me know. Look, if there's any matchup you want to see that Bisu versus Flash game on new Neo Sylphid that I posted last week, just leave a comment. I read every comment anyone has ever left on the channel, okay? YouTube makes it easy. It chronologically just displays all the comments as they come in, no matter what video they're on. So people have tested me on this, and I've always passed because it's easy. But the point is, if you have any questions for me or requests for me, or, you know, do you want me to cast a certain matchup? I had somebody the other day say that I haven't cast a ZVT in a while, so I cast a Jadong versus Piano game yesterday. That was a ton of fun, and if you missed that too, you should watch it. Anyway, the point is, hit me up in the comments. Leave a like as well to help the algorithm know that I'm here. But comments are good. I'll respond to them if I feel like there's a reason to do so and I want to. That's it. Alright, man. So MaNa says, I'm maxed out. Might as well walk into some siege tank fire. How's that sound? Sounds real dangerous, MaNa. I'm not sure I like this plan of yours. This is a lot of siege tanks. Some of them are not sieged up. I mean, the tank count is insane. It's insane right here. Are you just... Okay, you're just gonna walk in? These tanks are unsieged. What the crap, MorroW? What are you doing? Is it a trap? He's like, hey, come closer. I don't have any tanks over here. And then, yeah. And then it's a sneak attack as everything sieges. The problem is, the sound of a siege tank sieging is incredibly distinct. And you can't really hide it, and you can't muffle that sound. I bet Terrans would honestly love it, though, if they could get an upgrade that made it so the sound of a tank sieging was quiet. Oh, all right, stasis coming up here. We got our storm on the way as well. What the crap, MorroW? What are you doing? He's just getting absolutely jumped on here. Whoa. Okay, that, yeah. I mean, look at how many of these tanks are unsieged. These guys get stasis on the right side. Dragoons just crushing through with 1-1 upgrades. The 2-1 not saving the day. Does MaNa just win this thing now? He just completely destroyed MorroW's line. Just completely walked right through it. because MorroW set a giant clump of tanks up here unsieged and said, come get me. I am so confused. Where's your leapfrogging, MorroW? Again, it's a matter of micro, which they addressed earlier in this game. There's nothing defending this base but a bunch of spider mines and a vulture. So, yeah, MorroW is in a bad way. I think the official designation for this is he's in a lot of trouble. And then, well, there were tanks coming up. So, feint up, force a siege, go down, kill more stuff. Right? So you push up. The tanks have to siege up wherever they are. Oh, that's a free... Oh, I don't know. I don't think MaNa's actually controlling this. Because he's not getting very good trades here. I mean, killing the science vessel would have been amazing. The Arbiter somehow makes it out of here anyway. Do you have recall, Senor Arbiter? I'm not sure that you do. I don't know if I saw that come through the production tab, but I have not been watching it super closely in this game, in all fairness. So, alright, MorroW hangs on to this third base against all odds. MaNa, on the other side, is continuing to macro pretty well, because that's one of his strengths for sure. But MorroW is back with a, you know, a big tank army, not as big as it otherwise would be, if he didn't lose a whole bunch of siege tanks. Wait, did those stasis tanks join this? Oh. Oh. I think he might have done this with the stasis tanks that came out of stasis. That's why you stick around and kill the tanks that are in stasis when they come out of stasis, because otherwise they come back and bite you. Oh boy. Suddenly MaNa, who was in a real great position, nice snipe on that science vessel this time though, was in a real great position, is now completely trapped inside his main base. I guess, yeah, coming from the top side to try to wipe this out. We've got a couple Dragoons and no. Nope, that's not happening. MaNa is really trying to prevent this from going on, but it is not a thing. Dude, oh, never mind. The High Templar got sniped by cannon fire instead of the vultures. That's totally cool. This is why we have Goliaths, is to try to deal with the Arbiters. And actually, MaNa does manage to get this tank. Hang on. This one tank off of his front, so the tanks are pushed back a little bit here. But, I mean, MaNa taking this right side 3 o'clock spawn. He's got the top left-hand base. If he's going to win this game, he needs this. This is not MaNa being like, and now I have an advantage. It's just like, no, this is stuff you need to do to win, is expand a whole bunch. And he is. So, even though it's 175 to 143 supply in favor of MorroW, or MaNa rather, I feel like MorroW's okay. His units are more cost-efficient, right? We all know that. Especially sieged tanks. Very hard for ground anything to handle in Brood War. Like, there is no ground army that really can deal with, you know, 30 siege tanks all sieged up. It's just not really going to work. Maybe you could run up a whole ton of fully upgraded speed lots. Maybe that would work out for you, but I don't know. They might get vaporized before they get too close. Anyway, natural base here from MaNa is going down. We're going down. Down, 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 down. Right, so as MaNa has foretold and foresaw, he's going to lose all this stuff. So he's rebuilding a Templar Archives, he's rebuilding a Cybernetics Core, he's getting recall now at 18 minutes. He has a new... Yeah, new Arbiter Tribunal over here. MorroW's feeling pretty happy about, you know, wiping out MaNa's home, where he started in life. Doom, doom, doo, 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 doo. Yeah, these probes getting recalled out would be nice. I mean, I feel like he would have to replace... Okay. Yeah, so the probe count gets knocked down a bit, but MaNa still has, you know, 69 of them. 67 of them now. And the main base for MaNa is gone. So, once again, we talked about this. It's fine. MaNa's fine with it. He's had this happen to him 8 billion times in his life. Recall is finishing up now. We can start doing some Arbiter shenanigans. MorroW is going to land a 4th base. Mineral's only up here, but, you know, he's got that mineral dump of vultures he needs to make anyway, so not a huge deal. Okay, so MaNa gets knocked down to 4 total bases. The natural still has a decent amount of resources here, I think. It's not super great, but, you know. Did get a recall down here of some zealots and dragoons and whatnot. Is this that arbiter that's been sitting down here for like 10 minutes? I kind of feel like it is. See, but there's no anti-air here, so the arbiter can get out of here scot-free. Boo! The arbiter shouldn't be able to get away with that. Man, just biding his time, getting more energy up. Go for another recall, maybe back into the same location. I don't see why not. Alright, so MorroW feeling good. It always feels nice to destroy Protoss buildings with siege tanks. It's incredibly satisfying. Actually, destroying anything with siege tanks is incredibly satisfying. MaNa kind of trying to poke around the backside here to see what he can do. And, you know, a couple of vultures die. That's fine. But I don't know. Is MorroW going to win this game? If MorroW's able to take down this very new, very important source of income for MaNa, then suddenly MaNa's knocked down to 3 total bases. And being on 3 bases versus 4 for your Terran opponent is not a comfy place to live. It's, in fact, an incredibly not comfy place to live. Siege tank gleefully murdering probes here. And we're gonna try to recall. It's too late for this, I think. Just stasis, I guess. So fine, that's a stasis. That's a stasis. It's an attempt. It really is an attempt here. And then MaNa just decides to come up this way. Maybe try to pin MorroW in here, but dude, there are siege tanks on this high ground. This is not great. This is really not great for MaNa. Yeah, this new source of resources, the 3 o'clock goes down. These dragoons are like just absolutely getting obliterated. MaNa decides maybe to push deeper into Terran territory here. If everything that MorroW has is kind of uselessly hanging out on this right side, then maybe they can get something done down here to the south. But too many spider mines, too many siege tanks back here. Too many vultures, and MaNa has to retreat. He is pulling back to this 3-base area that he controls right now. And that's it. And I mean, if you're looking at the map right now, I don't know that this is something that MaNa's going to win. He hasn't really won any engagements today. He's had some good trades today. He has. But he hasn't just, you know, crushed the Terran army beneath his feet. I guess he did down here, but he stasis a bunch of stuff that came out later and kind of bit him in the butt, so I don't know if it counts. Coming in again. That is so many siege tanks. That is so many siege tanks. The storm is kind of catching stasis tanks. That storm is a lot better on the right side. Another great storm, but man, dragoons are just falling by the 3s, the 4s up here. Observer gets sniped. Nice scan and snipe there out of MorroW. Great, great stuff indeed. Whew. Alright, MaNa says, I guess we need zealots. So let's make 10 zealots at a time. 4 dragoons at a time. Get additional stargates. We have a fleet beacon. I don't know that we do, but look at this now. MorroW can expand here. He can expand here. This is great. This is great for MorroW. Look at his probes over here somehow at the remains of his natural base. I do like... I'm pretty sure MorroW just didn't see these. Which is... does he... Hang on. Wow, he doesn't see these buildings. That's amazing. Absolutely incredible. Alright, you are back up to full energy. I think it's probably time for you to go for some kind of a recall. There are turrets bracketing you in, kind of. But if you come up and around and down, you could probably get something done. You know, think outside the box, Arbiter Pilot. You can do it. Oh my gosh, he's trying to expand here. Wow. Okay, so that is something that MorroW sees. Dude, MaNa's gonna come try to take his natural back. I don't know if I've ever seen this before. Alright. He's gonna do it. He's gonna take his natural back for the 2,000 gas that exists there and the, I don't know, like 1,500 minerals that exist there. Also just a complete rundown and attack of this fourth base of MorroW. MorroW, you're not making some good moves here. Not at the moment, anyway. Like, I know you're trying to establish this right side as your own, which is great. Double expanding to this right side is fantastic. But, like, allowing this to happen and allowing this to go down seems problematic. MaNa has a massive bank compared to what MorroW has, too, which is, another sign that maybe MaNa might be able to pull something off here. He's getting +1 air weapons. Does he really not have a fleet beacon? I don't see any carriers in production at all, but he's getting +1 air weapons. Like, maybe for the Arbiters? I don't know. I don't know what to tell you at this point at all. Both players maxed out. MaNa has more workers, but MorroW has more sources of income. Well, I don't know. These are newer sources of income for sure. So MaNa is already mined out at this 12 o'clock. Natural's not super happy either. Yeah, so probes don't set off spider mines because they hover. Just like Archons and Vultures do. You don't have to worry about spider mines if you're a probe, or an SCV, or a drone. It's also very, very nice. Also, I mean, that was just a balanced decision, right? That was literally just, if spider mines kill workers, like workers can trigger spider mines, all anybody would ever do is try to throw down spider mines inside mineral lines, right? That would just be the end all be all. Although, widow mines in StarCraft 2 do trigger on workers, and that is something that happens quite a bit. But it's not like it's all anybody tries to do is widow mine drop. So I don't know. MorroW taking this top right that has been heretofore undiscovered. I don't know. We've got... Oh, he's trying to expand down here. Oh, dang. MaNa doing some 40 chess playing over here. Taking this top right. Kind of trying to take this bottom left. He's got the money for it. I don't see why not. I think MorroW needs to go. I don't think he can be the one to sit around and let MaNa do whatever he wants for, you know, the rest of the game. He needs to push the issue. And well, just from all directions, though. MaNa was waiting for that, and he's coming in hard, but I don't know that he has enough for this. No, oh my gosh, he totally has enough for this. Great storms. The spider mine dragging onto the siege tanks down below. Wow. Okay. MorroW's in an immense amount of trouble. Like a lot of trouble. MaNa's got this base rolling. He's gonna expand down here now too with this probe that he just mined the mineral from. That is 1 mineral in this probe's mouth because that's what that patch was. Hey, a single vulture is coming up to make sure that this natural is not a happy place anymore for these probes. Dragoons, oh my, have to come down with, you know, the spider mines. Ow, Dragoon's dead. Oh, dragging the spider mine into that tank too. This is such good play out of MaNa. Okay, well, MorroW has 100 gas to his name. Look at this expanding that's happening right now. MorroW is just not, yeah, he can see this. I don't know why he's not doing anything about it, though. Oh, this is amazing. Oh, it is a carrier transition. I mean, look, MaNa has a bunch of gas. So the fleet beacon's up, the carriers are coming in. And production tab is still tanks and vultures with new Goliaths to speak of. So, MaNa, honestly. MaNa was on 3 bases, kind of getting starved out, and snuck the top right, snuck the bottom left, and then waited for MorroW to make his move that I told him to make. I told MorroW to do that, and I was wrong. And then he pounced, and he crushed it. Oh, he got EMP'd. Okay, is he just getting, like, every so often ritualistically EMP'd? Or maybe the Goliath took a ton of his... I don't know what happened there. Anyway, bad times, goodbye. Senior Arbiter, you did a good job for a little bit once. It was nice. That's what goes on your epitaph. Yeah, man, I think MaNa has this. I don't know. I mean, I think overall MaNa is the better player than MorroW. Like, they know each other really well. They're both really good, but someone's got to be better than the other one in general in StarCraft, right? A big traditional ground army, but, you know, sneaky carriers coming up at the same time. If you're into being sneaky, that's great. Beat the sneakies. MaNa decides, all right, we're going to sack some probes here. Look at this beautiful split he's got, too. He's not just balled up right here, taking all the tank fire. He's going to come from the left side, top side, and right side all at the same time. And over here, too. Man, I don't know. This really just more feels like another situation where MorroW needs to make a move, and then MaNa will pounce on it. So here's your move. And response time by MaNa is not great. These guys aren't helping at all in this battle. And as a result... this left side gets cleared out. Okay, MaNa's like, crap. Maybe I was paying attention to something else a little bit too much there. He actually built a cannon to chase away this barracks. That just... MaNa, you scamp. You absolute scamp. So... I don't know. I don't... like, MorroW, what are we doing? Like, why? Why are... oh, well, we know what MaNa's doing. He's coming for ya! He's gunning for the king, and you better not miss. Here come the Zealots, the Dragoons on the backside. Beautiful stasis on the front, but the backline of tanks is real strong. And MaNa has to back the heck on out of there. That's not good. That's not a good thing at all. Okay, MorroW's starting to get some more money. MaNa's bank is wearing a little bit thin, but he has this whole big base to use. This too. Like, why? Why is MorroW doing nothing about that base? He's not even trying to kill it. There's nothing here to okay, there's 2 cannons. There's 2 cannons here to defend it. Okay, so we're back because these guys are coming out of stasis soon, which means MaNa's going to go for this. And they came out of stasis, but they're separated from their friends. Oh, is that a queued up EMP? Wait a second. Do units that are in the process of doing something when they get stasis do the thing after they come out of stasis? Because it sure seemed like that science vessel immediately EMP'd nothing. There was stuff here when he got stasis, but not after he came out. Oh, that's crazy. Like, his finger was already on the button, and the EMP had to go where it was going to go, even though there was nothing there the whole time. Yeah, I am not convinced that MaNa needs a giant carrier army, but it's going to make it easier for him to win this game. He's got a real nice ground army here with the 3-2 upgrades versus the 3-2 upgrades from MorroW. I don't know if that was worth running away from. There's like 5 siege tanks here. I think you can win that, MaNa. You're up 194 to 138 supply. He doesn't want to win before his carriers arrive, I guess. Well, they've arrived, but they need to actually contribute. He's put a lot of resources and time into that thing. And the carriers have made their announcement. They're here to kick butt and chew bubblegum. And they're all out of bubblegum. Just casually killing the few missile turrets that exist in this part of the map. Going after MorroW's, newest sources of income first, which is nice. Tanks helplessly watching as they get killed. And the Goliath count is not nearly enough. We're now pumping 6 Goliaths at a time. And this is actually a really good map for Carrier Micro 2. You can absolutely beautifully use this high ground, low ground position that exists in a lot of places to escape from carriers. Right? You show up, kill a bunch of stuff, get out, go home. That's all you gotta do. So look, MorroW's out-expanded, or mined out there. He is, pretty happily mining over here on the right side on both bases. Nothing too crazy here. And I guess technically the 4th exists, but it's not doing super hot. Are we actually going to kill this? Yeah, the carrier's just casually picking off individual tanks, as you do if you're a carrier pilot. With 9 total kills now, not too shabby. And now this is when it gets dangerous, is when the Protoss has a really nice ground army. Your tanks are all gone, and and there's carrier support. I guess that worked out. I was worried that the Goliaths were going to turn on there, not focus on the carrier bodies. There we go. Maybe a better thing here. I don't know. Oh, these poor Goliaths have to fight against the oncoming onslaught of Dragoons and Zealots. There are a couple tanks up here on the high ground that are going to help, but guess who's coming in to get rid of those real fast? Papa Carriers coming in to get rid of them tanks. And by that I mean attack something else for a minute. Maybe the missile turrets. They're the real concern here. Kill the siege tanks. They're wrecking your ground forces down here. Ooh. Alright, well the carriers are more interested in self-preservation, going after a couple turrets and a Goliath. There we go, before taking down the tanks. And I guess maybe it wasn't too late. These Dragoons are still having a great time down here. That base is toast. This is it, man. MorroW's down to 500 minerals. Gas rather. He needs gas to counter this. He can have the giantest mineral bank in the world. He's not going to win this thing. I guess he could build like 100,000 turrets with all the mineral bank in the world. And then maybe you would run out of interceptors before you killed them. Because MaNa's down to 300 minerals here. Like, he's not... Yeah, oh, did we wipe this out? This got wiped out. Okay. That's fun. So, MorroW has income down here, kind of. He's mining a little bit. And actually floating an orbital command up here to take the 2,000 gas that exists in that natural base. Alright, it makes a lot of sense to do that. It really, really does. You could leave, please. Idra is waiting. He's dumb. You will lose, MaNa, says MorroW. Oh, alright. Okay. See, they're friends. That was the friendliest get out I've ever seen in my entire casting career. That was literally MaNa saying, get out, and MorroW saying, no, I can still win this. I like it. I like the confidence here from MorroW, but it's not altogether warranted, I will say. He's down 50 supply. He's got some tanks in the mix now, but it is so many Goliaths. It is like a whole bunch of Goliaths. It is fewer Goliaths now that these ones have been wiped out as they try to go to the south again. I don't... whatever. Abusing this. Just absolutely abusing this high ground. Yeah, it's a beautiful hybrid ground-air army that's working out really well. The storms have been just pretty much on point today out of MaNa 2. Here we're down to under 100 supply from MorroW. His entire poor Goliath army has a hard time seeing up there. Carriers hiding out in the darkness, being super annoying that way. And I think that's it. I think MorroW is kaput. Yep, there's your GG. And MaNa is your winner. It was close, says MorroW. I'm not convinced that it was, MorroW, but that's okay. You have the confidence needed to be a professional StarCraft player. A nice talent to have. Yes. He even spelled it right. He even spelled it right. So we've seen this replay. It's a classic Idra replay where his Protoss opponent makes carriers against him and wins. And the Idra quote is, making carriers, a good talent to have, but he spells two with an I, so toy have. Anyway, yep. So this was obviously played after that game was played, and the story has been spread far and wide. MorroW knows. Is simultaneously being like, gosh, carriers are hard to deal with, and being like, that Idra sure is a salty guy, isn't he? Yeah, I don't know. MorroW was in a good spot. He was. When he took out, the natural and the main, as Terrans are wont to do, and he had this whole right side going, and that was fantastic. He needed to deny this space from happening and this space from happening. If he could have done some really good denial up here, just a part of his army maybe hanging in that location, just sitting back on defense, right? If he'd been denying these corners and just kept MaNa to these bases, I think he could have done fairly well. But he let MaNa have the corner bases, and then he went into MaNa's army that was ready for it, pushed it back, and that was the beginning of the end. Where MaNa had a ton of income, he countered, ended up wiping out this fourth base of MorroW's, and then it was just the carrier surprise that MorroW responded to pretty well, just a little bit late, obviously. Couldn't save these two newest sources of income, which that is always the most important thing in these games, is your newest sources of income. All right. Well, let's check out that final score. Hit that like button if you haven't already. But 40 minutes of gameplay, 349,000 points from MaNa, 309,000 points from MorroW. We got ourselves 800 to 600 produced in favor of the Terran, which is actually pretty good. But the killed is just too even, right? It's too even on the killed there, especially when resources looks like this. I mean, this is MaNa substantially ahead in gas mine, minerals mined, and outspent by a full 20,000 resources. It's gonna do pretty well, especially those carriers at the end really, really paid for themselves exceptionally well. All right. Hoorah! So that right there is gonna be it for me today. This has been Falcon Paladin coming at you with yet another edition of StarCraft Brood War Remastered. Go ahead, hit that like button, hit that subscribe if you like what you saw and what you heard today. You can also catch me on Twitter, Facebook, Patreon, and Twitch, all at /Falcon Paladin. And until next time, as always, thank you so much for watching, and you take care of yourself.